I bought a broken Nintendo DS. Why? Cause I'm crazy. A number of months ago, I bought this. Like the tin says, it's a completely broken DS with an absolutely flayed top screen. The reason is kind of simple. I learned that people like to do a modification to broken old DSs to give them a breath of fresh life. The long and short of it is they just completely get rid of the top screen here, and they only use the bottom screen as a Game Boy Advance, because that's something you can do. You can play Game Boy Advance games on DSs. I mean, sounds pretty simple, right? Exactly how hard would it be to chop off a top screen?
It's very hard.
Now, I'll get into exactly why chopping off a screen is actually really freaking hard, but first, you're gonna watch me fumble around for a little while. Look at this idiot. You think he has any brain cells up there? I don't think he does. And what might look like a normal package to you is actually doxing, and that's my address in there.
Oh, it's kind of wrapped up. Oh my god. They packed this like it was gonna get thrown off the tsunami falls in New York. It's like Christmas morning. How many layers are on this thing? Oh my god. Here we go. Oh yeah, baby. Now, if I did my job explaining what I'm doing in the intro, you should probably already know what I'm doing, so I shouldn't even say anything, but we're going to be turning this into a Game Boy by chopping off its top screen, so first things first, we need to see if it works. I do not know where I put my charger.
This may become an issue very shortly.
It is not. Of course it isn't. That's
Why would Nintendo keep the same charger design for more than a year?
This is the right one. Yes. Okay.
Light! That's good! That's good! We have a light! Oh, that top screen is busted! Oh, that top screen is not around anymore. That looks like it's some kind of issue with, like, the video cable or something. This is probably fixable, honestly. In my non-educational opinion, I'd say this is fixable. Look, if I do this, the colors get even worse. My name is Earl. That top screen is going insane. I've never seen something do that before. Oh, the screen came back. The top screen came back. What the? It's back. If I hold it just right. Hold on. Wait, we're right there. If I hold it just right there, it works. That's crazy. Okay, let's see if this thing holds a charge when I unplug it. Hey! Wow! This thing's fucking mint, dude. Alright. Time to rip this thing apart. Okay. Now, the next part is removing the backside, which sounds like it should be kind of simple, right? Wrong! Wrong again! You're always wrong! I also thought it would be really simple. I mean, it's literally just like 6 screws and you get to the back, but you're not alone. It's not simple. Nintendo decided it would be really funny if they used Y screws. Y screws on the back of their Nintendo DS. And you want to know why they used Y screws? Basically entirely to make it harder to open, I swear to God. And guess who didn't know you needed to buy a Y screwdriver to take apart a Nintendo DS Lite? This guy. Basically, within engineering as a whole, I suppose, there are 2 main types of screws: Phillips and flathead. Phillips is the one that kind of looks like a Jesus cross, and flathead is flat. It's just one little line. There is no reason to use Y screws except to be a little Nintendo is only using them here in Nintendo DS Lite for the only purpose of making it hard to open. Turns out, though, Y screws have a weakness. First things first, remove these screws. That's doable. I got this awesome screwdriver kit from my grandfather. Thank you, grandfather. That's a Y screw. Why do you put in a Y screw? That is... Okay, if I push really hard, I can barely turn that screw, so... Oh, it's turning. It's turning. Oh my god, barely turning. My journey almost ended as soon as it began. That was terrifying. What if I couldn't get that screw out? That's right. If you literally just use a flathead and apply an ungodly amount of upper body strength, you can just barely manage to turn a Y screw. Now, are you meant to do it this way? Absolutely not. Does it work?
by definition, yes, but every time you use a flathead screwdriver to tear apart a Y screw, it will slowly just rub away the top layer and start stripping the screw, or whatever, however you call it. So every time you use a flathead to do this, you are literally damaging the screw. And that means that I can only take apart this DS Lite a few times before I can no longer take it apart. It will refuse to come apart. Or put back together. Now, I suppose the solution to this is just buying regular screws, but I'm a cheap bastard.
Prying open is happening. Oh, that was a terrible sound. Oh, there is one screw right here that I didn't remove. Good lord. I was just prying up on something screaming in pain. Okay, hold on. Is that another Y screw? I swear to God. God. You know, I'm not gonna be using the card slot anymore, so like, what's the damage if I were to just rip it apart? I mean, what would be the worst thing that would happen, really? Yeah, that screw no longer screws anymore. Why is there glitter on my desk now? There's glitter. Was the DS full of glitter? Is this a factory thing that Nintendo does? Is they fill their consoles with glitter? Okay, it says to remove the screws and disconnect the cables in red, and then remove the Wi-Fi BIOS module marked in blue. I got a brand spanking new set of pliers, or not pliers, tweezers for this project. Brand new, right from China.
Whoa, whoa, whoa there, Tiger. Put those pinchers away because the audience has absolutely no idea what you're doing, okay? Now, I'll explain the main hurdle with this entire thing after this next step, okay? But for now, just bear with me. We're basically doing open heart surgery to this bad boy, and we need to get to the surgery spot by taking out the only remaining screen and getting to the other side of the motherboard. We also need to remove this BIOS chip. This is where your DS's brain lives. This is where PictoChat lives. There are a few finicky and quite honestly really scary cables around this area, so let's see how that happens, right? Huh? That's gonna be fun to watch.
Oh. Oh my god, we did it. Jeez Louise. Okay, now it wants me to remove this entire chip from the board, I'm pretty sure. And the thing that I'm scared the most of out of anything is coming all this way, doing all this preparation, only for it to break right as I'm doing the most important step. Oh, we did it! We did it! Oh my god! This is where the home screen lives. There's the DS, everybody. There's a lot of cool things going on here, none of which I understand. Okay. God. My fingernail. I mean, I guess this one's fine to break, unless, wait. Oh, do I push this one out and not lift up? Wait a minute. Yeah. How does this ribbon cable open, dog? Oh, I just snapped a piece of plastic off. Oh, I did it. Okay, it's a flip up. Dude, if I was trying to repair this DS and I did that much damage to the cable, I would be so pissed off. I'm so happy that this DS is being modded. This screen is scratched to hell. Oh my god. You know, if I was at all intelligent, I would have ordered a replacement screen, but I did not. I did not. Boom, this is your entire DS. It looks really, really complicated, which is funny because we can emulate the DS on pretty much like a toaster nowadays. But I mean, I guess back then, this must have been pre-advanced, I assume? I don't know, but all I know is now is the step for the soldering.
Wow. Yeah, no, it looks like you tore the absolute hell out of this thing like a rabid dog or a really small puppy. That's right, boys. It's time for surgery. So it turns out when you cut the console in half, it doesn't really like it for some reason. So whenever you turn on the DS, it basically does a series of pre-flight checks, think of it like that, where it tests all its parts to make sure it's working correctly. And, well, if you chop off the top screen, it's obviously not working correctly now, is it? So how do we avoid the DS from freaking out and powering itself off whenever it realizes it's missing a limb? Well, simple. Trick it. Now, come here. Do you see these two little itty-bitty points right here? These two absolutely teeny tiny points right here. These microscopic points. If you connect a solder between these 2 points, long story short, basically tricks the DS into thinking it still has its second screen attached. Because putting a resistor here adds resistance to the circuit, resistance that would usually be taken up by having a second screen. I think. I've not checked with anyone about this, it might be wrong, but that's my understanding of it. So this is all well and good, but unfortunately there's a slight, just a slight itty-bitty problem with this. I have never soldered anything before in my life. I have never actually soldered something on this scale before. Literally, this scale. And it wasn't until after this project that I Googled it and learned that apparently you need flux to solder. I didn't know you needed flux to solder. I just went for it. So how do I handle this solder job? Well, I guess you'll have to find out, won't ya?
I special ordered these resistors straight from Handheld Legends, so they should be the good kind. They should be perfect, and I ordered 3 of them because I knew I would probably mess up one of them. So let me just go set up the soldering station then, I suppose. You know, for making myself a custom desk, I seem to be always running out of space on it, which is interesting. But the question is, what tip do I use? I have no idea. I have like a whole package of them over here, but I don't know which one to use. Yeah, this one's probably good. I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, no, when I say I have no idea what I'm doing, like, I literally mean I have no idea what I'm doing. So we're gonna Google how to melt, what temperature to melt solder at. 180 and 220. Alright. Let's set it at, is this C or F? Oh shit, wait, which one's which? So I'm pretty sure all I have to do is pool solder on those 2 points right there. Okay. After that, I don't know if that's gonna work. It looks horrific. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, but that is just like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life, and I'm not even done yet. I got to do the resistor now. That was just getting it ready for the resistor. So without kidding, this is horrific.
Here's a little baby guy.
This resistor's freaking huge, dude. Dude, this resistor's giant. What the hell? That's not gonna fit on those 2 points. What? This was labeled on Handheld Legends website as being for the macro project. What? The resistor is insanely big.
And you've probably seen the biggest issue with this entire project. Let's make it extremely simple for everybody. If the points are this big, okay, and the resistor is this big, how are you going to solder that on there? If the points you need to solder on the resistor are farther apart than the points you actually need to solder. Now, maybe I'm just stupid and you're meant to bend the resistor to make it fit, and that's just kind of like an industry standard thing, and I'm just a skill issue boy, but I had no idea how to deal with this problem. Now, once again, this might just be a skill issue, I don't know, but in order to make this resistor fit, I had to bend the ever-loving hell out of it.
So if there's anybody out there who's a soldering aficionado, I am extremely sorry for what I did to your hobby.
Look, dude, stop doing this, dude. Oh my God, you're bending it so bad. I'm gonna vomit. So after all of this pain, the big question that remains is, does the DS still power on? That is the money question right there. Let's watch his realization together now, shall we?
I'm calling it right now. I don't think this is going to turn on. There's no way in hell. Plus, it barely has any battery charge to begin with anyway. Okay, well, first things first. I don't think it has enough charge to do anything. So we're going to plug back in the cable. Yeah. No. It's not turning on.
Shit.
Yeah, alright. Well, it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it, boys?
Well, it looks like the DS doesn't power on, huh? That's funny. So how am I gonna fix this? Well, have you ever seen a man lock in before? Would you like to?
Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god, I thought it wasn't gonna work. I just locked the f in and just made it work. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. I can live without a speaker. I can live without a speaker. That's called locking in, bro! Lock in! We stay winning, dude! Oh my god, I'm kind of lightheaded, actually. Wow, that's f***ing insane.
But even after all of this, there was still one big issue I have yet to address, and that is the fact that I never even tested the DS to see if it could play Game Boy Advance games. Like, well, yeah, it had the slot, obviously it's a DS Lite, but what if there's something catastrophically wrong with the slot, or God forbid, like the CPU that runs the Game Boy Advance games, right? So I had spent countless hours on this well, okay, that's an exaggeration, but I had spent a very long time on this project, and it might not have even worked in the first place. So I took the time to button up the Nintendo DS, and the Y screws, they're a little stripped, so it didn't go back together exactly right. But honestly, for the hell that thing went through, I am not that disappointed in the way it turned out. So although I didn't have any Game Boy Advance games, my friend did, and I drove over to his house after buttoning it up, and on the floor of his house, with the camera held between my kneecaps like this, I plugged in the first game he handed me and tested it.
You're getting a picture of my toes?
Well,
Here, I'll lift them up for you.
I don't want to picture your toes.
This is it. This is the official testing of the DS. See, it turns on, which is it didn't turn on for a moment there. I was really concerned, but we're gonna. Okay, here we go.
Did I read it even? I thought you have to do it when it's turned off.
Logan.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Whoa! Whoa! Yo! I got a Game Boy Advance. Oh my god, it fucking works. Wow.
It's a little bit smaller. It's actually around the same size.
Yeah, this is insane. I'm so happy that actually works. Here in my hands is the completed Game Boy Macro. Post-mortem analysis, there are definitely a few things I could do better. Okay, a few things are an understatement. There's a lot I could do better. I think the number one and biggest one is to actually resolder the joint using flux, because the way it's soldered in, if I drop this thing too hard, I'm scared it will come off. I would also like to put a light bar in between those 2 points, so it's not just like a massive gap up there. Although it does look kind of cool like that. I want to replace the battery because it's been sitting for a long time, replace the screen because it's scratched to hell, and put the speaker back in. And replace the back shell to be transparent so I can get better screws. But also, I don't want to make this thing like the ship of Thearsaurus, whatever. Like, I still want it to be the same Game Boy when I'm done with it, right? So, if you want to follow up to this video, please subscribe. I don't know if you noticed, but this is a brand new channel. I've literally poured my heart into this video. So if there is anything you can do at all to help me in the algorithm, please, for the love of God, do it. Whether that's commenting, liking, subscribing, whatever you want to do, share the video around in your various Discord servers, do that too. It would mean the world to me. Anyways, that's Wordna signing off. Remember, kids, always tolerate intolerance, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.
I bite at the hand that feeds me, slap at the face that eats me. Some kind of animal cannibal made impressions on me.